Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of Scientology Q&A. We're going to do this live, and we are going to bring in my lovely wife here. I've got everything switched around there. There she is.
Howdy, hey.
I got to move back a little bit. I'm like creeping into your shot here.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in again, guys. We're going to do a little bit different today. We've got a whole bunch of things we're trying to get to you. And as usual, we are going to have a giveaway at the end of this video. We are also going to give away, do all the giveaways for the winners of the small and failing org contest that was being held on the Sea.org website. So stick around till the very end of the video. We'll do all those giveaways. And if you put in the hashtag Xenu, it doesn't have to be uppercase or lower. It doesn't matter what if it's uppercase or lowercase. If you put that in your comments below, then you will automatically be entered in to give a giveaway that somebody paid for on the channel. So yeah, go ahead and put that in if you want to win something from the Blown for Good store or the spshop.com.
There you go.
And then yeah, what else do we have to, we got to do some shout outs before we get going.
Yeah, I marked a bunch of where people are joining us from.
Okay.
You want me to read them? You
Sure.
Pull them up?
Sure. Oh, this person wanted to enter into the Saki
McSock face. Good to see you here, Saki. Does this multiply my entries? It does not.
It does not.
Just one entry will be just dandy.
Yeah. Oh, I see here. You got starred ones. I just pulled up the very first one that came up. I didn't realize it wasn't starred.
No worries. All right. Buck Buddy. Turns out the aliens only use Visa for commerce. Ever since the Scientology chase wave fiasco, the cult's coffers aren't able to be increased. Well, there you go.
Okay. Okay. Is that what you were starring? I'm confused. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I didn't. Trevanon, good evening from the Netherlands. Good evening, Trev. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. MB, hello from Washington State. Nice. Oh, Saki McSockface is from Cheshire, UK. Scientology Audit, Ottawa. Hi, Mark and Claire from Ottawa. Nice to see you. Xenu. Okay, so that's a typo. That will not get you entered into the contest, just FYI. Xenu. Tuna 3120. Hello from New Hampshire. Hello.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to do a so the way we'll do it today is we're going to talk about Scientology and the aliens, because that's a key thing for us to cover.
Sure.
And people want to know what's up with Scientology and the aliens. And then as soon as we're done talking about the aliens, we're going to ask you guys about what's your theory on this? What do you think? We're going to ask for your opinions and your ideas on what's up with the aliens and Scientology. and if you have questions about them, then we'll try to answer those questions as much as possible. Trevanon says, oops. Anyway, so yeah, this is live. We are live.
Yes. And thanks to everyone who's stuck with us after our little audio debacle last week.
Last week we had this nightmare with the audio. We never did actually really figure out where it came from. So there was definitely some audio body thetans, or I don't know what happened. But we cleaned up all everything in here, and we got some new equipment, and so hopefully everything is sounding and looking great, and yeah, we can be done with all the nightmares on that stuff. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, before we talk about the aliens, we should just bring up that when we were in the Sea Org, at least in my end, I never knew about the aliens. Where you are in Scientology and you're at the low end of the bridge to total freedom, you don't get to find out about the aliens. You have to get up to what's called operating thetan level 3, and everything from 3 up is all you know what you're talking about, and you're dealing with aliens. Is that right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
right.
Now Claire, she got up to past OT3, so she knows all about the aliens.
Yep, I do. But we never talked about it because that was strictly forbidden.
Yeah.
You can never have a conversation as a Scientologist about where you're, like, hey, what do you think about OT3? Are you buying into the whole Xenu story, or what's your thoughts? No, that's strictly forbidden. You would be ousted in a heartbeat to
Yeah.
have that conversation.
Yeah, they don't let you. You're not allowed to talk about what they call in Scientology your case. So anything you do in auditing or counseling, or when they're asking you the questions on the e-meter, you're not able to talk about that with another Scientologist or even another person. It's not allowed in Scientology.
Yeah. In fact, Hubbard calls it coffee shop auditing, to compare notes with other Scientologists about where you're at, what your thoughts are. Hey, the whole indoctrination thing depends on not comparing notes, right?
Yeah. And somebody just made a really great comment, and I want to put this up here. It says, Beck, Big Brother fan, or Becky, Big Brother fan. Sorry, that looked like an exclam to me, Becky. Anyway, question: was it difficult to decipher LRH's handwriting? So LRH, for any of you new viewers, is L. Ron Hubbard, the creator and the inventor of Scientology. And the funny thing about the handwriting thing is that in Scientology, there's a lot of videos and there's a lot of writings where L. Ron Hubbard wanted his original handwriting to be the thing that people would be reading. So if you're a Scientologist, you have most likely read hundreds of pages, or at least a book or an essay or something that L. Ron Hubbard had written in his handwriting. So you can read, any Scientologist can read and recognize L. Ron Hubbard's handwriting because it's in a lot of different things. And so it's funny. It's not really difficult to decipher after you've read it for so many times, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, not at all. It's a very distinctive handwriting, but when you've read, like you said, hundreds of, read it for years over and over,
yeah, so
get used to it.
So when we show you some of the things we're going to show you today, we're going to show you L. Ron Hubbard's original handwriting where he talks about the Xenu. And because I don't know whether the people that have never been in Scientology that are watching this know, there are a lot of Scientologists that watch this channel. Okay. And we know this because we hear from them, and they reach out to us and they tell us things. And in Scientology, no one is allowed to talk about the aliens. You're not allowed to. It's just not something you're allowed to do. So even though everybody who's been up past this OT level 3 and above, they all know about the aliens, but no one's allowed to talk about it. And it's a crazy, crazy thing.
Yep.
And what's even, I was just thinking about this the other day, in the Sea organization, almost all of the people that are like movers and shakers and doing stuff, like people that are hotshot producers or making something, they don't know about the aliens.
Right.
The only people that know about the aliens are the executives in the Sea Org. And almost all of the executives in the Sea Org and in Scientology, I would say, yeah, pretty much 201, they all know about the aliens.
Yep.
There's not
a lot.
It
was a requirement to be a top executive, is that you have to be, on the upper levels. That's how I ended up getting up to OT5. Was Shelley Miscavage told me, hey, you have 3 months, and if you don't get to this level, you're out of RTC, which obviously would have had consequences. And so yeah, that's kind of what accelerated the need for me to do the OT levels, because it's not common for Sea Org members to do auditing, counseling, all of that, because they're, first of all, working, often not sleeping. And second of all, it's just not priority.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do any of it. I I was getting stuff done. I didn't have time to learn about no aliens. Anyway, so this is a key thing that people have to understand, is that even though Scientologists believe in aliens, and that is the reason why there's all these problems, they're not allowed to talk about it with other Scientologists.
Yeah.
And then the people, a lot of times, the people that are in Scientology public relations positions or something like that, they 100% know about the aliens, but they're not allowed to say anything because it's a suppressive act to discuss the confidential operating thetan levels. It is so you will, if you in Scientology, if you talk about the aliens, you will be declared what's called an SP, or a suppressive person. So, that's kind of the lay of the land on how this works.
Yeah, and to be clear, just to comment on it, it's not that, I mean, sure, there's plenty of people that have crazy beliefs, but the point is that don't pretend that you're not going to, that Scientology is not requiring somebody to pay millions of dollars to even learn that. A. B. Don't pretend you're not an abusive organization that destroys people's lives.
Yeah, we don't care. We're not here to challenge any of this. It is what it is. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. We're just telling you this is how it is.
Yeah.
And this is what they believe. That is the number one question about Scientology, is what do they believe? And if you ask Scientology, they ain't going to tell you. So as somebody who produced materials and films and videos and e-meters and audiovisual systems for Scientology, I know all about the workings of Scientology and how these things go. And also the systems area that made all the AV systems was next to the OT materials production place where they made all the OT materials. So when I was working at the international headquarters, I would see all of these people who knew about this great technology that was confidential. And they weren't the rock stars of the place. I'll just tell you that right now. In almost every case, these people had been busted or kicked off of their post or kicked out of the C organization that they were in. And they were busted down to Golden Era Productions. Golden Era Productions, even though it's at an international level of Scientology organizations, it's the lowest of those. So usually if you get taken off a post in Religious Technology Center or CST or management, you get busted into Golden Era Productions. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, guys.
We're getting some great questions, by the way.
Perfect.
I'm working on marking them. Yep.
Okay, so don't forget, we got Xenu, hashtag Xenu, if you want to enter something in. Let's get into the aliens. Okay, so this is one of the documents that you read on OT3. That's right. Is this one of those things?
Yeah. Which, by the way, funny story.
Yeah.
In Religious Technology Center, they have the reports officer.
Yeah.
So that's like anyone who has any complaint with pretty much anybody at any level of Scientology can write into the reports officer at Religious Technology Center. Well, some people would often send a copy of that handwritten Hubbard writing of OT3 to the reports officer, who, by the way, was not OT.
No.
She wasn't even clear. And Warren McShane, the legal guy in RTC, who, as we know, is an expert liar, true to form, told her, oh no, that's a squirrel version of OT3. That's not the real thing. They've tampered with it. And yet it's in Hubbard's handwriting. You're like, come on now.
That's so wild. Okay, so let's get back to it. Okay, so this is where L. Ron Hubbard explains that there was a galactic federation, and the head of this galactic federation, it was 76 planets around larger stars visible from here. They had, it says they had 95 million years ago, very space opera, solved overpopulation. And what they had was they had 250 billion or so per planet. You're talking, remember, there was 76 planets, or I can't tell if that's a 5 or a 6. It looks like a 6 to me. 76 planets. And they had 250 billion or so per planet, 178 billion on average. I love how he says they had this much, and then he totally changes it to an average that's way lower. By mass implanting, he caused people to be brought to TGAC. Okay, and TGAC is Earth. This is L. Ron Hubbard's writing, guys. Uh-oh, somebody said the sound is cutting out. I hope they better be trolling us right now. Okay.
Mark's a little sensitive.
Yeah.
Sensitive on the audio stuff now.
Anyway, we don't need any audio DTs. Anyway, so he solved overpopulation by mass implanting. He caused the people to be brought to TGAC, which is Earth, and he put an H-bombs in volcanoes, and then he blew them up. Okay. And this is this whole thing in a nutshell. Okay. So there was a bunch of, when those people, those aliens, because they're from one of these 76 planets, and they're talking about bringing billions and billions of these people to Earth. Okay. So that's very key later on in this whole thing. Anyway, so he brings all those things to Earth. And then he puts them in volcanoes and blows them up. And then they built these things that were like soul catchers in the sky to catch the aliens as they were coming out of the volcanoes. And then they captured them. And then they showed them videos of Christ and the man on the cross and religions and all these different things. Okay, so this is what this is. And this is written by Hubbard. Okay. So now let's just go through this a little bit, guys, because this is what Scientologists believe. They believe that there were all these other planets and they had 250 billion or 178 billion people average on all these different planets. Okay. And they believed that this guy, this alien overlord, he rounded all these guys up and then they sent them to Earth, and they did so using all these planes, okay, that looked like DC-10s. And it says that in the Hubbard thing that they look like planes with jet engines on them, okay, which is wild. And Air Xenu, I made these. These were all generated by Grok. I have a good time making Xenu art on the internet for these videos.
Yeah, especially when you're having trouble sleeping. I'll wake up the next morning and be like, oh my gosh, I've got some really funny things to show you. Like, oh my goodness, how late did you stay up?
Anyway, so he brings all these people, they drop him in volcanoes. And then when they dropped him in volcanoes, they had these little orbs, these little souls that came out. And then they gathered those up. They went around with all their little sweepers. And they went and they got all these things, and then when they programmed them, the things, oh, there it is, they're all getting cut. They programmed them, and they taught them, all these space aliens, they taught them and showed them videos and programmed them to believe all these things about religion and the man on the cross and all this stuff.
Japan of Green Gables says, who has better service, Air Xenu or Spirit Airlines?
Well, Air Xenu, he was moving a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking billions and billions. This is another thing that's wild about these stories, is that why would they bring them here of all places?
Right. Well, you know, I mean,
it was 9 light years from
it's
where
not,
they
it's
were.
not like somebody's going to audit the story.
But it's like 9 light years. They couldn't find another place to dump some stuff. It was like they were just looking for a trash planet to like just drop some stuff.
Yeah, well,
up.
that's why Hubbard calls planet Earth the prison planet.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why
true.
he says many times prison planet.
Okay. Anyway.
He wasn't, I guess he wasn't counting on space travel coming around anytime soon.
Yeah, he brings these guys here. Now, these guys are the loyal officers, okay? And they are basically, they are the police of the Galactic Federation, okay? And they went and they basically were tasked with rounding Xenu up for doing all this. Now, this is the part where I don't exactly understand because if he was solving overpopulation by doing this, and now I don't understand why he's in trouble with these guys.
Well, because he was enslaving all these millions of beings.
Well, I know, but he was just relocating them to another planet.
Well, and also like
Dropping them
programming
in the
them
volcano.
and-
Maybe
yeah,
dropping them in the
come on
volcanoes
now.
wasn't that cool
No,
either.
no.
Okay, so then
And then like implanting them with, you know, any form of religion is just a control mechanism, and you're stuck here, and this is you're banished for several gazillion years. I mean,
somebody's talking about the gender equality of the loyal officers. You know,
yeah, good point. I know.
I just asked for a profile, you know, a shot of them, and that's what I got. I don't know. Maybe there's just not that many. I'm not even going to get into this. We're going to go down a rabbit hole. Anyway, so they track Xenu down. Okay. And they lock him up in a mountain. Okay. And this is all in Hubbard's writing. Okay. They lock him up in a mountain, and they use electricity to electrify, like force fields or some such stuff, to electrify the gates or the bars of the cell that Xenu's in this mountain that he's in. And then and we don't know if some people suspect he might still be there and he's just like chilling. We don't know about that, but he doesn't seem to be too happy about the project. And also, it has been rumored that within the last few hundred years, the batteries or whatever was running his cell may have drained or not, allegedly. I don't know. Okay, so but now fast forward to today. There's all these space aliens there, and in Scientology, in these Hubbard writings, he calls these body thetans. And I wanted to talk about this for a second with you, because this is another thing that Scientologists is a way Scientology kind of makes people believe that it's not real or it's not accurate if they hear about body thetans, is because in all of the Scientology that you learn about before OT3, Hubbard talks a lot about thetans. Okay.
Right.
And that's how the soul, a person's soul, is described as a thetan. They just call it a thetan. A person's
like
soul is their own thetan, but they don't call it a body thetan.
No.
They just call it a thetan by itself.
Right. Which is pretty judgmental when you get to the upper levels.
Anyway,
saying. But no, the way that Hubbard describes it is you have your body and you have your soul, but in Scientology that's a thetan. So then they'll say, close your eyes, think of a cat. Who's looking at the cat? It's obviously not your body. Look, your eyeballs looking at the cat. It's you,
because you have your eyes closed.
Right.
Anyway, so when a Scientologist sees body thetans, they don't always. It's just a bit off, because he never says body thetan. He just says thetan. And there was a few things in Dianetics and in other Scientology writings where Hubbard did mix up the definition of a thetan. Like he described it differently, and it meant something a little different. And then later on, when you find out about the body thetans, you realize there's just different kinds of thetans, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this is key for Scientologists that are watching this. Yes, he doesn't talk about body thetans until OT3. And one of those reasons is that Scientology has gone through all of his writings and all of his recordings, and they've gone back and they've edited anything out of those that cause any confusion or give somebody the idea that you could find out about these before you find out about them. And then they've moved all those materials to the upper levels. So they've basically sorted all of Hubbard's nonsense so that you don't learn about something before you're supposed to, based on
and before you've paid for it.
Yeah, pretty much. before you've given them a check for all the space alien stuff. Oh yeah, and that's another crazy thing. They just had this big event. If you go to Tony Ortega underground bunker, they just had an event in England where they gave out all these trophies for all these people. And these people have donated tens and tens of millions of dollars. And most of those people, they basically Scientology's got a really good way of vetting who's got dough, because to get to the upper levels, you got to have a few $1,000,000 if you're a family to get you and your wife all the way to OT8, which is what they're currently up to. It could easily cost $1,000,000 or so bucks. And so if the faster you're able to do that, they know you've got the resources. And so then they start hitting you up for 10 million donation or a 5 million donation or a $500,000 donation. And they basically have these just status levels that you can donate to. And if you donate over a certain level, then you get to meet the big guy, fake Navy Davy. Okay. David Miscavage. And so if you get to meet David Miscavage, that's a big deal. So there's sort of like a built-in guarantee that if you give a certain $1 million amount of dollars, you will get to take a picture with fake Navy Davy.
Mhm.
And in this thing on Tony Ortega's site, it's got all these pictures with fake Navy Davy. So you go like, oh yeah, this is, he's only doing those top level dudes. He's not in there with the riffraff that are only given 500,000 or 250K. No, there's gotta be $1 million after that.
Clara said, those are some expensive meet and greet tickets.
They really are.
They really
No,
are.
it's a big thing in Scientology now. They don't even make any money off of delivering. I mean, they make some, but the amount of money that when we were in came from auditing and counseling. That's where they made their money. And all of that happened in Florida, in Clearwater. The organization in Clearwater makes $1 million a week. And all of Scientology's organizations around the world combined don't make $1 million in a week.
Right.
So Flag made more than everybody else. I think the Sea Org AOs might have been excluded from that calculation. Just the regular organizations, like there's an AO in Los Angeles that does upper level stuff, and there's one in UK, and there's one in Africa, and there's one in EU, in Denmark, in Copenhagen. Jambonage. That's the street that place is on. Anyway, so those guys at Flag are making all the money. Now, David Miscavige is getting $10 million from a donor. And that replaces all of the nonsense they have to do in Scientology. So now it's just a pay to upgrade, club.
Yeah. And it is, to me, it's a huge balance sheet strategy, because when they collect money for services or for courses, it goes on their books as a liability, whereas the IAS, the donations just flood in. And I'm pretty sure even in the early days, Hubbard had said not to collect donations.
Oh yeah.
That was not supposed to, that was a strategy Miscavige implemented. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. Catherine Olson. This is somebody that just recently, she's one of the most recent escapees of the Sea organization. She said Flag, which is the place in Clearwater, went from making $1 million a week to less than 200K after the chase wave. What? They were getting 800K of that. Was it? See, this is another thing. When we were, thank you, Catherine. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. When we were in the Sea organization, there was a time when, and right before we left, actually, in the early 2000s, Scientology had $1 billion in money that they had received for auditing or counseling or studies or something, that Scientology needed to do something to give that person. They had $1 billion in what's called advanced payments. And that was in 2005. I cannot imagine what nonsense they've been up to since then.
Yeah. And obviously we know many things from behind the scenes of working with people through the Aftermath Foundation, but even just in recent weeks, we've helped people get tens of thousands of dollars back that were charged illegally. So we're keeping very close tabs on these things, and they're not going unreported.
Yes. Okay. So back to our space cooties. Okay. So we got body thetans. Okay. AKA space cooties, AKA space aliens. And in present day, Scientologists believe that these space aliens are everywhere, and each person has hundreds of thousands of these things that are basically living rent-free in our bodies, in our persons. And that's why they're called body thetans. Now, some people could explain these as microbes or germs or all kinds of things, because that's essentially what they are equivalent to in this world of Scientology. You can't see them unless you're on these upper levels, or you can't locate them if you're not one of these upper level Scientologists that know. And that's the thing you learn on OT3. You learn about the aliens, and then as you go up the levels and you go to OT4 and OT5 and OT6, you basically learn how to locate and evict the aliens. And you have to also audit the aliens. You have to use Scientology counseling on the eight. Am I smoking the Doochie, or is this right? Am I explaining this right?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. This is not made up, guys. This is a real thing that they have in Scientology. Okay, so once you learn how to evict the aliens, you have to do so on a weekly and consistent basis.
Well, no, it's daily, like
daily.
It's because OT1 to 3 is referred to as the non-interference zone. So you have to audit every day, no matter what. And B, it's obviously OT3 is the wall of fire, as it's referred to, meaning you have to audit every single day. And by the time you get to OT7, I think they're requiring like 4 to 5 times a day.
4 or 5 times a day you have to do a session for it. That's why they're doing these like 20-minute little sessions.
Yes.
Okay. So you got to do this. You got to do this alien exorcism where you could be getting rid of 50 space cooties. You could be getting rid of 50,000. But you got to do this every day. And so that's on really when you get into the big time, just mass space cootie evictions is on OT7. And on OT7, they have their materials that what they're writing down about the space cooties. They have to write up got rid of these space cooties, got rid of these guys. They got to write all this up and they got to put it in a briefcase. And Scientologists wear a handcuff around their wrist, and they handcuffed one of these little Halliburton.
Because that's not creepy.
Yeah. Halliburton briefcase around their wrist, handcuffed. And it's got to have a combo on it. And so this is what, if you're on OT7 or above, this is what you're doing, and you're getting rid of these space cooties. Now, that's what it is. This again, these are all images generated by by Grok on X. And yeah, so you've got like movie stars. There's a big movie star. His name's Tom Cruise. He was on OT7 when I left in 2005, either OT8 or OT7, right?
Yeah, no, he had just finished OT7 like right before we left. So yeah, it makes me wonder, like, what does David Miscavage tell his buddy Tom Cruise? Like, so it's been now, almost 20 years since he finished OT8.
Well, this is the thing. I got to tell you guys, you're never going to believe this. This matches up with my theory. I did not know what she was saying. Okay. I didn't know she was going to say that because I didn't know the exact timing. But do you know Tom Cruise started doing some space alien movies? Do you know when he started doing space alien movies?
Let me guess. 2005?
In 2005, War of the Worlds came out. I think Tom Cruise has just been workshopping ways to get rid of aliens.
I thought War of the Worlds was like earlier than that.
Nope, 2005. You guys
Really?
can Google food. Get on the gobbledygook machine and see if you guys can say when that thing came out. But either way, I think that Tom Cruise has been workshopping how to get rid of aliens. He did that. He did War of the Worlds, and they killed them all in War of the Worlds. They wiped out all those aliens.
Yeah.
So that's one way. I'm just saying he's thinking big. Like he's like, I've got a whole world we could like workshop these with everybody, you know?
Okay, fair enough. Edge of Tomorrow did it have aliens in it?
Absolutely, it had
Okay, all
aliens in
right.
it.
I may have dozed
He
off.
he killed them every day, over and over and over and over again in
Oh,
that
that's
movie.
right.
He was just
That's
killing
right.
aliens nonstop.
That's right.
And then he was in that other one, the one where the AI aliens replaced, they cloned the humans.
Oh, yeah.
Oblivion.
Okay.
Telling you guys,
And then
he's the
yeah.
most famous Scientologist, and he is on a rampage with getting rid of aliens. And this is the thing where I think, see, now we got all these aliens. They've been evicted. They're all, I mean, they're getting rid of 10,000 a day. They're not killing them, as far as I've been able to understand. Right?
Hmm.
We're not killing the aliens.
No, in fact, very often I've heard OT Scientologists refer to as like them getting rid of their body thetans is what's contributing to the increase in population on Earth.
Guys, this is real, okay? Anyway, they're getting rid of the aliens, and the aliens got nowhere to go. They're jumping on other people. Okay, I don't know why I've got a picture of the loyal officers in here. I don't know where that came from, but the Sea Org is basically, they think they are descendants of the loyal officers. Okay, and even when Hubbard died, and there were 2 Sea Org members that were with him, that were taking care of him, Hubbard, or they, nobody knows really. There's a lot of folklore around this. I wish I knew somebody who actually knew. And you know what, to be fair, Janice and Mark Fisher probably know, but Pat Broker wrote an issue basically on behalf of L. Ron Hubbard, saying that Pat Broker and Annie Broker were assigned the status of loyal officers.
Right.
Okay. And then David Miscavage canceled that and declared them. And Pat Broker escaped with a truck full of cash.
Yeah.
And Annie Broker was intercepted, and she was kept there until her death, a few years ago, several years ago. But regardless, Scientologists.
And by the way, side comment, that's always where it gets a little murky. Like, they were loyal officers, and yet the loyal officers were the bad guys. So are they the bad guys, or are they the good guys? It's just contradictory.
Yeah.
Don't ask too many questions, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Yeah, this whole the Sea Org is basically just a plaything. These are just Scientologists cosplaying as police.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you got your Sea Org.
Oh my God.
They're protecting all the OT levels, and they put them in vaults, and this is a real thing. Before Hubbard died, he said, you got to round up all these OT materials, and you got to put them in mountains, because we know that's where, if you want to keep something safe, you put it inside of a mountain. That's what they did with Xenu, and that worked this whole time.
Yeah. That vault is very reminiscent of Silo, by the way. Silo,
Okay.
the TV show. It's really good.
Dr. Derail over here. Okay. So we got the loyal officers. They're putting stuff in mountains. They're Sea Org members. And they have these all over. They have them in New Mexico. They have them in Washington, California. Is that it? Did I name them all? I've been to one of them. I've been to one.
Oh, you said New Mexico.
I've been to the one in Trementina. I actually went there with John Sweeney from the BBC back in the day.
Do you have that footage, by the way?
I do, actually.
We should do an episode
We should
on
do
that.
it, because I recorded the entire trip there and the entire trip back. And John Sweeney actually wrote a book called The Book of Fear.
Church of Fear.
The Book of Fear. The Church of Fear. And in that,
not to be confused with the Book of Mormon, right?
And he explains this whole the whole trip we did. And we actually got followed by PIs, and there was a whole bunch of crazy stuff that happened. We should definitely do a video about that.
Meanwhile, I stayed home with our young children and prayed for your safe return.
Anyway, we've got some surprise Trementina stuff at the end of this video too, which is the most amazing thing I've seen in a long time. And I got questions, but okay. So you got all these Sea Org members all over the place. Now, I think the Sea Org should have made a deal with Xenu. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he's able to like basically he's capable of international space, interdimensional, interspatial transport.
Mm-hmm.
That guy we should be friends with. I don't think we should be messing with him.
Yeah, like why try to recruit Earth people,
Anyway.
Earthlings for a
Just saying, the Sea Org could have done that. That would have been a partnership. They could have worked this out. I don't want to be around when the aliens show up. Because if they do show up, Air Xenu and all those guys, you know, the first place they're going to, right? Boom, Scientology. That's I guarantee you, that's the first stop on their list. They're not going to go to the White House or some big building down. They're going to go right to Scientology in Clearwater or in LA, and they're going to get Scientology is going to get a talking to. I think that's our last thing. Okay, so questions. Okay, let's take your questions. Did you star anything?
I did.
Okay, we're going to do it. Blown for Good says we're going to have a fun show, everybody, today. We are, yeah. I did write that. I did think that that's Japan. Green Gables says.
I'm reading the questions.
You are.
Okay, great. Japan of Green Gables. You're being glib. Love Food Kitchen. You're being glib. Tom Cruise. There you go.
Okay.
Love Food Kitchen. Is Purple Tea Fella Mark Abb's answer to Michael Jackson? Nose looks a little unique, like he's been enjoying a bit too much of the old Markabian marching powder and needs reconstructive surgery.
He'd had alien booger sugar. I don't know. I think she's talking about the thumbnail.
Yes.
I think whoever that is talking about the thumbnail.
Yes, that's right.
For the video, which I've been getting I'm having a great time with, by the way.
Yeah. Allison Piano singing "We Don't Talk About Xenu" in my head to the tune of "We Don't Talk About Bruno." LOL.
We don't talk about Xenu.
Exactly.
Yeah, they cannot talk about Xenu, but we can. We can talk about Xenu all we want.
Yep, exactly. AGT Mom. I am running to my computer. I have been compiling a list of questions. I have so many questions about the thetans and aliens. Well, if maybe just pop any questions in the chat in case I missed them while we were running through all those fun AI images. Saki McSockface. As a religion, do Scientologists have any beliefs on what happens when we die? As most religions have this down before they claim aliens. Yes, absolutely. Scientology believes that as a thetan, when your body dies, you then go and get a new body. It's different than reincarnation. Just it's a Scientology version of that.
Yeah.
So,
they actually have a thing, an end of life assist in Scientology. Is that what it's called?
it's a drop the body assist.
I understand. They have they have a nice word for it. I think it's called the end of life assist, where they tell you to go find another body.
Yep.
In that thing, they tell you when you're dying, hey, go do this, go find, because you're already in the hospital. There's going to be one born on the second floor. Just go down there and get one. That's what they tell you. That's what they believe in Scientology.
Okay, Daniel Sander, thank you for the super chat. Xenu might be listening. There you go.
Yeah, see, we don't care about Xenu. We're cool with Xenu. Whatever he wants to do, I'm cool with it. I don't know what Hubbard said. I don't know if he did that or not. I don't know. I wasn't there. So Xenu, if you're listening, you know, we haven't talked in a while, but if you're listening,
no hard feelings.
We're still good, man. We're still good. We're trying to tattle on the Scientologists and get them to stop being up to nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we
did that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Hog's Belly question: are there any Scientology courses outside of the OT materials that mentions dem pesky aliens? I think we covered that, but they very carefully recategorized any materials that talked about body thetans and also clusters and
so they
anything that was part of that body of material.
Yeah. In the early days, Hubbard kind of was all over the place when he was talking about this stuff. And sometimes he let slip something that he was going to release later or earlier or whatever. And then Scientology would just edit that and make it in the right place. They would move those materials. Like there's a lecture that he gives on the class 8 course. And there's lectures that he gave on the class 12 course. These are classes or levels of training for auditors. And if you're at a certain class, you can deliver certain operating thetan levels, and you have to be at different classes to deliver different levels. And on those lectures, there's a lecture that he gives to a bunch of people where he does talk about some of this alien stuff, and they moved those lectures to those courses where you're able to learn about doing the space aliens, goody stuff.
Yeah, what was the screenplay or the book that covered the whole OT3 story? Do you remember the name of that? Something the stars.
Into the Stars, or Mission into the Stars, or I think it's called
yeah.
Into the Stars or something.
Yeah,
like
something like that. But either way, that covered the whole story.
That's
as
true.
well.
So that is another good point. There is a book that Hubbard wrote, or a screenplay that he wrote. Hubbard was a sci-fi fan, okay? If you didn't figure that out by now. And he wanted to make a sci-fi movie. And so he made
Revolt in the Stars.
Revolt
Thank you,
in
Love
the
Brew
Stars.
Kitchen. Yes, that
Yeah,
was it.
the chat is on fire today.
Yes.
In the
amazing.
know. Anyway,
Catherine says To the Stars. I think it was
it's
Revolt in the
100%
Stars.
Revolt in the Stars,
Yeah.
because any broker had a copy of that.
Right.
And she gave it to us.
Yep.
And we thought it was a movie, or we thought it was a story.
It was supposed to be.
And then somebody said, "Oh yeah, no, that's true. That's a good OT3. That's what OT3 is about." And I was like, "No way!" And I never believed it. I thought that would be crazy.
Because, and of course you would never ask me, your wife,
I'd be like,
to commit a suppressive act of telling you, is this for real?
Well, that's the thing in Scientology. I read this Revolt in the Stars thing. I thought this is just a cheesy science fiction thing. And Hubbard wrote tons of that stuff. So it was the same as that other stuff. Mission Earth, Battlefield Earth, Final Blackout, all these.
Skin Brigade.
Yeah, he wrote a bunch of fiction. So
Pedrito.
Anyway, so when you're reading this, if you read Mission Earth or Battlefield Earth, it's just more of the same. So anyway, but if I would have gone to Claire and said, "Hey, do you know what body thetans are? Or have you heard of this cat named Xenu who's like jacking up stuff?" I could have gotten big trouble. Okay, let's keep going.
Yep. And by the way, Anthony Spurgeon asked a good question. Why would he want to make an OT3 movie if it's top secret? You can't insert logic into a lot of this, but it's a good question. Okay, Japan of Green Gables question: are most Scientologists familiar with Hubbard's handwriting before they get to OT3? Yes, very definitely. I think we covered that. But
yeah, we kind of covered that, because you see all these handwriting things. So when you see it, that's his handwriting.
Yeah, and even many of his famous quotes he had, were handwritten and framed and with pictures.
Oh, that's a great point. All over the organization in Scientology, they have L. Ron Hubbard's handwriting, and his signature is on everything.
Yeah.
So there's posters and there's pictures and there's handwritten things. So yeah, you really do, on a daily basis, if you're in a Scientology organization, you're seeing pictures of Hubbard's handwriting.
Yeah, which I wonder if that's still the case to this day, since David Miscavage has been systematically removing Hubbard's influence and quotes and references.
Who knows?
Yep, who knows? Okay. Question: do you have to go to ethics if one of your BTs rock slams? BT as in body thetan, those you're addressing on the upper levels. And no, you don't. Because
just so everybody understands, in Scientology, they have what's called an E-meter, and you hold these electrodes in your hands, cans. They used to use soup cans, and they have different reactions that happen on the needle of this E-meter. And one of those is called a rock slam, and it's where the dial of the E-meter just violently just thrashes around. When that happens, Scientology consider that person has an evil purpose, and the evil purpose is what makes the meter do that. And so she's asking if you go to ethics, if one of your body thetans rock slams. I don't know. That's really a Claire question, because that's like some deep technical Scientology craziness.
Yeah, but it brings up something I wanted to mention, which is that Hubbard said that OT5 would cure cancer. And the reason he alleged this is because you would address body thetans who were being cancer and get rid of them. And that's how, allegedly it's supposed to cure cancer, which of course we know from the number of Scientologists who have sadly passed from cancer, that's not the case. Goes without saying, but there you have it.
Yeah, that is another thing in Scientology, which is if you do have cancer, instead of going to the doctor, and this is where this thing comes from, well, Scientologies don't go to the doctor, they do this. Well, even if a Scientology goes to the doctor says, hey, you have cancer, Scientologists know that the only way they're going to get rid of the cancer is if they do the thing in Scientology where they get rid of that thing. So regardless of what the doctor says to do, they know that they got to get rid of their body thetans to get rid of the cancer. And that may be one of the reasons why a lot of them die of cancer, is because getting rid of those body thetans ain't getting rid of the cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, witness said, what would Xenu do? That's one of my favorites.
We got to make some What Would Xenu Do merch.
Yes.
Clara, there you go. Clara, if you are watching, Clara.
She's in the chat.
She's always trying to get me to get What Would Xenu Do? Okay.
Yep.
You know what to do. You know what to do.
We can get one of those buttons, that like the magic 8-ball that gives different answers. What would Xenu do? Clara says, on it, Mark. Coffee first, always. Even though the number of Scientology members is diminishing, are you worried about the amount of power David Miscavage has with billions of dollars, that he could still influence governments and other organizations? Yeah, absolutely. That is an issue. The numbers are dwindling, but the dollars are not. Which, again, you referenced that Tony Ortega's article about the underground bunker, which covered that whole thing about Trish Duggan and the millions of dollars she donated to Scientology from the pharmaceutical company sales. It's so mind-boggling.
It is so, they're literally making money on drugs, and that drug money is going to Scientology. It's one of the crazy, Scientology's so anti-drug. It is the hypocrisy is amazing in Scientology.
It is.
L. Ron Hubbard, when he died, he had antipsychotic drugs. He had psych drugs in his body when he died.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people go, well, probably his doctor is the one who prescribed that. Yeah, his doctor that was a Scientologist and knew about all the body thetan stuff is the one who prescribed him the psych drugs, antipsychotics.
Yep.
So it's the hypocrisy never ends. It's wild.
Yep.
Okay, we got to wrap these up because we got to get to all these winners. We have so much stuff that we've got to show you on this this other thing.
And Dr. X is in the chat.
Oh,
good to see you. And Maria, good to see you.
Perfect. We'll put up whatever. Oh, you gotta find that Dr. X comment. I thought it was not starred.
Oh.
Read this and then and find that while we're answering.
Okay, Japan of Green Gables. Question. There's an old interview you did, Mark, where you said Tom left after he went OT3 and then went OT4 within a week of rejoining. Can you say more?
Sure. Well, this actually, oddly enough, you know a lot about this too.
Yeah, I do.
But I only know because Tom Cruise was doing my auditing. So he did a bunch of stuff when he did his auditing with me. They were trying to get him trained as an auditor, and they were trying to get him to the OT levels.
Right. And the reason for that is because you're required to do both. You can't do just the counseling. You have to do the training as well. And
you can if you want to. Well, he wanted to do both of them.
Yeah.
You can do, if you're a Richie Rich, you can just do the training side, or you can just do the
But you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But if you give David Miscavage $10 million, he'll look the other way and let you just do the auditing and not have to do all the training.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise did all the training. He wanted to do the training. Anyway, so then once he did that, and then him and Nicole, when Tom Cruise was auditing me in Scientology, he had just finished Days of Thunder and he had just met Nicole, and they were in their like honeymoon phase of their relationship, dancing around and laughing and giggling, and he bought her a Mercedes,
running through a meadow full of flowers,
running through the meadows of flowers, like all that stuff was happening at the base.
Right.
And so he just finished Days of Thunder. He was there, and he was intensively doing Scientology's training and auditing and everything before he was going to do another movie. And then once he went off to do that other movie, he never came back. He just disappeared. And him and Nicole did Far and Away, and they did Eyes Wide Shut. They did all the stuff that they were doing, and they got their kids, and they did all that stuff.
And when they did Far and Away, they were still in. because
Yes.
we went to go see the movie, but Eyes Wide Shut, definitely not.
By the
They had
time
drifted away.
That's right. By the time they did Eyes Wide Shut, they were persona non grata. And that's because they knew Nicole was going to basically get Tom out. And David Miscavige was going to lose his golden boy.
Right. And when you say persona non grata, you mean David Miscavige would frequently tell us that Tom Cruise and Nicole were out ethics and that they weren't, and he had their personal staff, Michael Dovin and
Andrea Dovin.
Yeah, and their staff who were Scientologists actively reporting on exactly what Tom and Nicole were doing. So David Miscavige had personal knowledge that they were drifting away from Scientology.
Yeah. Anyway, when they told Tom, basically, this is like a whole episode of its own, but there's like this guy, Anthony Pellicano, and he worked for Tom, and he may know some stuff about this, and he may know some stuff about that. Anyway, they basically convinced, from what we were told by David Miscavige and Marty Rathbun, they convinced Tom that Nicole was cheating on him, and because she was pregnant, that was proof, and that is why their marriage was over. And when that happened, Marty audited Tom full time and did all the interrogations and all the stuff on the meter, and also did whatever he had to do to get him back on his OT levels again and back into Scientology, and convince him that if he gets, if he does the Scientology upper levels, then that's going to make everything good again in his life.
Right. And even specifically that Nicole was the suppressive person on Tom Cruise's, case.
If you're in Scientology and you are not progressing up these confidential upper levels, it's because you have a suppressive person in your life that's keeping you from becoming a better Scientologist and getting trained and processed up these confidential levels. So if you believe in Scientology and you believe that you're not getting up the upper levels, then there has to be a suppressive person in your life. And they told Tom that Nicole was that person. And that is when he went right back into Scientology and went hard. And that was probably early 2000s.
Right.
And then from
2003, 2004.
And then from that point forward, Tom was team Scientology hardcore. And that's when he starts making space alien movies. Anyway, okay, let's get back to it.
Yeah. Okay. I know they are meaningless. Question from Japan of Green Gables. I know they are meaningless, but what were your ranks in the Sea Org when you blew?
I was the CPO, a chief petty officer.
So I was a warrant officer at one point, but I had been demoted because I was in the hole.
Yeah.
When you get put in the hole, you're automatically the lowest rank available, which is Swamper.
Nice. Good job. Well, I was a chief petty officer, and I think I was a midshipman. Is that the next one up from CPO? Yeah. I think I was a midshipman for like 6 months. I got promoted, and then I got the crew got
ranks
something.
Were very watery by the end. Like
it didn't mean anything.
Didn't really like. Miscavige could rip off your bars, which he did on a few occasions, and you were done.
Yeah. If he was mad at you and you were wearing your bars, he'd make you take your bars off.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing.
It made some people turn them inside out a couple of times. It was just bizarre.
He also made them wear like fluorescent pink badges and just like weird things he was doing. I'm going to pay in advance for anything you don't cover.
Thank you, AGT Mom. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but okay.
I guess in questions we covered a lot today. This is actually jam-packed, and we're just coming up on the hour, so we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Is an engram associated with a particular thetan?
It can be. It gets kind of loosey-goosey when you get onto the upper levels because, when you reach the state of clear, you realize that you were creating your own reactive mind or your reactive bank.
Yeah.
And yet then when you get on onto addressing body thetans, those body thetans are not clear. So it gets very, very convoluted very quickly.
It really does. It really does. Okay. Scientology should trademark Xenu. It's a crowd favorite.
There you go. Hi,
Well, now,
Maria.
this is a great question, and I'm glad you started this, because this is a very slippery slope for Scientology, because they say they don't believe in space aliens. So how could they trademark the Xenu thing? So there were SPs that were putting the Xenu stuff on the internet, and Scientology is saying, hey, you got to take that down. That's a copyright infringement. And people are like, what are you talking about? This is real? And then they're like, oh, geez, what are we doing? And so I own the web. Xenu is my homeboy, is my domain. I own that. So, and I've owned that for a while. So I am the Xenu is my homeboy guy. And my son, my 16-year-old wants me to change it to homie. Xenu is my homie. So let me know in the comments.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like, you can't say homeboy. They don't say that anymore. I'm like, but I know, but when I made it up, it was like, 20 years ago. Xenu is my homeboy is what we say.
I sense some new merch coming.
Anyway, Clara, if you want, Xenu is my homie. Maybe we'll track some of the younger demographics. We got a bunch of Gen X and older seem to be the main people buying our stuff here. Okay.
Yeah, which on a more serious note, we heard from a viewer that yesterday or sometime in the last few days during the airing of Yellowstone, Scientology has been rolling out some brand new commercials. So on the one hand, we go, uh-oh. On the other hand, we know the younger demographics, they go to the internet to if they have any questions about what Scientology is, which will ultimately lead them here. So,
the other thing is, the last time Scientology went crazy on advertising on the internet, we were doing a lot of videos and we were doing a lot of numbers. So we don't have a problem with Scientology putting out ads. It drives people to our channel, and we do more content to kind of capture that interest and try to explain and answer valid questions that people have about Scientology.
Clara says, frantically typing merch ideas in my spreadsheet. Thank you, Clara. You're the best. Nice. Coffee Milk Dude, love to you both. Everyone seems to have cancer. Weird. They have so many cases. Huh. Ping me, Claire. Love me. Okay. All right.
Okay, good. I don't know about that, but okay. You say so. Here's another one.
There you go. Gail Richards. How did LRH explain his illness? Well, he didn't.
That's true. Nobody knew. Hiding. Yeah. When he was dying, there was only a few Sea Org members that were with him. And there's a guy that was with him. His name was it Sarge? Yeah.
Yes.
Sarge. And Sarge would tell these stories about the stuff that L. Ron Hubbard was doing. One of the things that he was doing, now you got to understand, he wrote OT levels according to L. Ron Hubbard. He wrote OT levels all the way up to level 15, right? Right?
Well, the gray chart, the bridge to total freedom goes up to OT 15, but it's only released up to OT 8.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, but he wrote up to OT 15.
Allegedly.
Yeah. What was released was all the way up to 8. Okay. Well, he had written that years before this Surge guy was hanging out with him, one of the last Sea Org members. And he told Sarge.
Yeah.
He told Sarge at one point that he wanted to make him to make a meter. L. Ron Hubbard wanted Sarge to make a meter that would make it so that L. Ron Hubbard could find and electrocute body thetans with. Okay.
Because if that's not sus, I don't know what is.
So, but I'm just saying, he had already written up to OT level 15, and he was still trying to get rid of body thetans. L. Ron Hubbard was still trying to get rid of body thetans right before he died.
Yeah.
So if you think that the alien stuff is crazy, who knows? And so, to be fair though, and what Claire keeps alluding to is there are no OT levels above OT level 8. Right? They don't exist.
The version that I heard, there are several different versions of what allegedly did or didn't happen. The version that I heard is that Hubbard said what was going to be on those upper levels in a recorded conversation that he had with Ray Midoff. And Ray Midoff is, of course, the senior tech guy. And that's why David Miscavige couldn't get rid of Ray Midoff.
Yeah. And guess what? What they talked about. Ray doesn't remember. That's another one of these amazing stories that if you're at the end base, you are told by David Miscavige himself, the leader of Scientology, that L. Ron Hubbard sat down with Ray Midoff and explained to him what OT 9 and 10 was. And then Ray Midoff forgot that happened. And he didn't write it down. He didn't know about it. There is a record that there was a meeting and there was a recording and that this happened. They cannot find the recording. And Ray Midoff does not remember doing it. Right. Okay. So the only existence of these was supposedly something that Pat Broker had. And David Miscavige has been watching Pat Broker for decades because he thinks he might still have OT 9 and 10 and he's going to tell somebody about it because Scientology doesn't have it. It doesn't exist. Yeah. And they certainly don't have 11, 12, 13 or 14 or 15.
As proven by the fact that, hey, they're collecting money for all kinds of things. You guarantee if David Miscavige had something for which he could collect more money, he would absolutely be doing it.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
I think we did good. I think we got all the questions. We did a bunch.
If we missed your questions, sorry about that. Thanks for everyone being here and to our moderators, Catherine and Clara.
Do we want to do the org contest one first?
Yes, let's do that. And thank you, Dr. X, for being here.
Yes.
As well.
Now,
I didn't get to star her comment.
We are going, we'll definitely, we'll be looking out for the Dr. X comments. So this is this contest that was run and it ended on December 12th and people were supposed to take pictures of the small and failing orgs around them. And they could also do AI pictures and they could do, basically it was very open to do whatever people wanted. And the results are in and we are going to show you how that all went down. So this is the How Tiny Is Your Org? And people went on this quest to find all of Scientology's small and failing organizations. And there's a little guy that says, Xenu approved this message. For the love of Xenu, enter the photo contest. And here we go. How tiny is your org? The categories are going to be tiny org, empty org, ruined org, target to ideal org AI image, target to ideal org fake Navy Davy picture, most upvoted picture, most upvoted picture by XC org, and a participation award. Jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 awards. Wow. And I think some of these have multiples, right? It's like 10. I don't know. We're going to give them away. Okay. So the tiny org winner is this one, Trementina Squirrel. And this is a picture. I don't know how this person got this picture. This is a picture inside of one of the entrances to the vaults in the Church of Spiritual Technology, CST, at the Trementina Base Vault in New Mexico. This is wild. Okay, next slide is a ruined org. The winner is Nika Casey Turing, and this is of Toronto org. And you know, this is funny that this is the one that won this because when we were at the international headquarters, if you were going to be threatened to be sent somewhere, it was almost always to Canada.
Right, right. Weren't you going to go to Canada at one point?
I think I was supposed to go to the to Toronto org.
Yeah.
This is where I was going to get sent when I was in the hole. And before I was able to maneuver my way out of the hole,
GTFO,
I was going to the Toronto org, baby. Okay, so congratulations to Nika Casey Turing. Empty org. This is the winner is Tammy Tamitha. And this is Dallas Ideal Org in Texas. And this is a ghost town of an org. I mean, we've seen a lot of pictures of these places and it is empty all the time. Good job, Dallas. Stay away.
Stay far, far away. Do not enter.
Target 2 ideal org AI image. Winner, you audible bleeding. Bodie, Wyoming, ghost town ideal org. Bodie, Wyoming, ghost town ideal org. It's just like a Western ghost town. Okay, good job. Awesome. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Target 2 ideal org.
Oh my
fake
gosh.
Navy Davy pictures. Becky Lunn, a certain fake captain of the fake Space Navy, providing the evening's entertainment. Oh, he's got little space cooties with him.
Mm-hmm.
A certain fake captain of the fake Space Navy, still riddled with body thetans, no matter how hard he tries to get rid of them.
Banana
Awesome.
Davy.
That's amazing. I can't believe she found it. Fits so perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. I love it. These are great. Most upvoted picture. Patrina Lunn. Panicked by a certain flood, rumor has it that this was a certain fake Navy captain of the fake Space Navy was doing when the Great Flood hit the base in August 1990 while its Sea Org members were busy. I can't read what's under there because it's under the slide thing. A certain
Yeah.
fake expansion of the fake Navy in hiding. Nice. Oh, wow. He's hiding with the other bananas now.
Trevanon says Miscavage will be thrilled to see this. Oh, yes. I'm sure it's going to be so amusing for him.
Oh, my goodness. Most upvoted picture by XC Org. Winner, Patty Mower. Is that how you say her name? Mower?
I'm not positive.
A certain
Patty, correct us if we have the
sorry.
pronunciation wrong. Sorry.
A certain fake captain of the fake Space Navy writing his knowledge report. So the rest of are true. He does beat his staff. LOL, I beat my staff. That's amazing. I love these.
Yeah.
Okay. How tiny is your org? These are the winners. Thank you. Congratulations to everybody. Now, this is the most organized thing that I've ever seen in my life in terms of how well it was put together and how everybody, I mean, we've already sent these people all of their prizes. We've already communicated. Claire's already communicated with the people and they've gotten their addresses and it was sent and everything. So thank you very much to everyone who participated. If you want to find out anything more about this, you can go to the website, which is the CSEE.org. And I don't know if they're going to do another one. I've heard rumblings, maybe possibly there could be one that ends in March 13th or some other Scientology kind of milestone event date. But I did want to, participation winners was the last one, which was due to the overwhelming number of entries to the contest. We've decided to award multiple participation winners. Congratulations to all. And this is Mrs. J, Mary Kay London, Happy Elf, Kaz, L. Rond Hubbard, Helly Gear, and Inco G Nito. I like that. Incognito. That's a funny username. Incognito. Yeah. Okay, great. And then Dr. X, I don't know who put this together. Somebody sent this in. Dr. X and Dr. Paul are the ones who kind of like spearheaded and ran this whole thing. I mean, they just, I don't know how they do whatever they do. It definitely seems like there's like 10 of them somehow, some way. There's no way that 2 individuals could do the things that they do. So somebody made this very cool poster.
Serial Givers.
Dr. X's superhero, serial givers, friends, globetrotters, special editions. I mean, these guys are definitely up. Like we hear and see their adventures. They send us pictures and they send us different things from different. I mean, it is wild what they get up to. So thank you very much, everybody, for supporting the contest and congratulations to all the winners. And all that good stuff. Okay. And I think the last thing we got to do is we got to see what we only got 52 entries. Okay. Well, we're going to do the drawing. There's 300 people in here. So that's a good amount.
And yes, Kaz, I saw your email and I will respond to that when we're done here.
Well, there you go. Look at that. Okay. We're going to do the draw. Here it is. And I'm clicking my screen. There we go. I got to click that screen. Draw. Okay. Here we go. Is it going to do it? Draw. Oh, there it goes.
There we go.
Okay. Where this is all computerized, automated. Oh, I almost won. If I win, that would
not
be
good. Oh,
Crazy
Crazy Clean
Clean.
R. There you
Okay.
Crazy Cleaner.
Crazy Cleaner. Congratulations, Crazy Cleaner.
All
You are
right.
the next contestant on the BFG channel.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it looks like I think we got all the super chats, we got all the starred questions. I think we got it all. We took care of all of it. If you guys like this way of doing it, we'll do more of these. I'm gonna do a video on this footage I have of the Scientologists cleaning up. I just have to figure out a good way to present it because it's literally just clips, like 30 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, but there's a lot of them. So I might cut a reel together. But when I was starting to prep it, it's just like, oh, this is going to take me like a week or two. So that's why we decided to do this today, and because the contest ended and all that good stuff. But we like answering you guys' questions. One of the big questions that comes up a lot is about the aliens. So we figured we'd do a video about that. Also, Scientology's starting to put some ads on Yellowstone, and it's the end of the year, and they're starting to get their, I guess Davey's got excited about doing some ads.
Well, he's got to have something to announce at the New Year's event too.
Oh, that's right. They've got to say at the New Year's event, they ran these ads.
Mm-hmm.
Good thinking. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
Regardless, when Scientology run ads, we get views and we sell merch and we do whatever we do. So, and we get the word out about Scientology. And to all the Scientologists that are watching, we've got, look, you can click here and there and down there. We got all kinds of videos about all the things that happen at the Sea Org and the Ant Base. And so, yeah, we're going to keep doing that. We're going to try to do it. We get the holidays coming up, guys. We're going to try to do a video every week if we can. If they're not on Sunday, we might slip one during the week if it's not going to line up holiday wise or whatever we're doing. We're all over the place, guys. So we try, and hopefully the new studio works out. Hopefully this thing made it and sounds good and looks good. And yeah, we appreciate. I guess I could show all these things. Xenu is my homeboy, and tons of our amazing BFG merch we got from the Blown for Good store. The link is in the description. If you want copies of my book, Blown for Good, right there. Claire and I both signed those. We only have a handful of paperbacks left, and we've got a few hundred hardbacks left. If you want the fake Navy dolls, bobbleheads, and SP bracelets, you can get those from the spshop.com. The SP shop supports all the proceeds from the SP shop go to the Aftermath Foundation. And if you want to just directly support the Aftermath Foundation, you can go to the aftermathfoundation.org. And then, yeah, go to the seaorg.org if you want to see any of those photos or any other stuff that people put in that we didn't show here. And
there we go. Covered it.
I think that was it. I think that was all the things. I think we did all the
all
things.
of the things. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. Great to see everybody. And yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Until next time.
Bye.
Oh, I got to set the outro video.
Oh, fun.
Do boo boo. Sorry, guys. I got to do this, and I got to set that, and then I got to go and push this. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store link in the description. We have Hail Xenu, Xenu is my homeboy, and BFG branded mouse pads, shirts, mugs, all sorts of other stuff in there that helps us to bring you new content on a regular basis. You can also pick up a copy of my book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology, in hardback, Kindle, and Audible versions as well. There's also a link to our podcast, and you can get that on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to watch another video, you can click on this link right here, or you can click on this one here, or you can click on the subscribe button right here. Thanks a lot. Until next time.